maybe help develop some toughness in you guys this offseason?
I mean, I think it did a bunch. Like I said, a lot of people maybe weren't used to being uncomfortable. Obviously there's some guys, that are super tough, but I think they did a great job of making sure they put everyone through like the same thing and making sure everyone kind of was out there.
One of the videos we saw was your head coach one day, I don't remember what day it was, talking to you guys about games in the fourth quarter last year. And the numbers he used were 1 and 4. We asked Braylon about it. What kind of message did that send you guys about last year's inability to finish and what needs to change that around this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes to like what our off-season workouts were like. Yeah. At the end, we always had to finish it. And, Coach always harps with us being 1 and 4. At the end of every workout, every practice, we have to finish it. And, it goes to show you, like, they're really hard on us finishing. And we didn't do a really good job at that last year. So I think people really want to be good at that.
Did you get tired after a while? Apparently, you guys were 1 and 4 in the fourth quarter. I mean, it can annoy you, but motivate you.
I mean, yeah. Like, I necessarily didn't get tired of it because that's what happened. Like, it's real. So, it was important for us to hear that, because it kind of was that sense of motivation at the end where you're like, we were 1 and 4. Yeah. So, like, let's do this.
So, let's say, for Badger fans, who's one, if you were a Badgers fan, who would be the one person, based off of what you know, that fans should watch this spring?
I would say the whole running back unit. I think that's kind of, everyone likes the running backs most right, but I'd say the whole unit as a whole, obviously.
When it comes to, like, it's you and Braylon, who do you think I know Isaac's gone, but who do you think can assume, can move up and be like a running back 3 or move up game ready reps?
I mean, I think all of them are capable. I think Jackson is a guy that he's seen the game. He's been in the game a bunch playing fullback last year, and I think he has that natural, feel, not just blocking, but I think he could be very capable of doing that. I think he's going to have a big strength.
There's a lot of transfers, skill position players even that came in here in the offseason. I know this doesn't apply to you necessarily, but obviously guys can feel some type of way about seeing somebody compete for their spot.
Yeah.
Which has kind of been the response, from some of these guys who have been established other places and coming in here to round out the roster.
Yeah. I mean, like I kind of said earlier, change is kind of inevitable, and just kind of how you attack it. And I think those guys, at certain positions where they did bring in transfer guys, kind of saw like, kind of lit a fire under them, I would say. I think they kind of have no choice, because if they're not, then, like their spot's going to get taken. So, I think it was good all in all.
What do you just think of the offensive guys? You got 7,000 for career yard passer, and Tanner Moore, guy, Nick Evers, 4-star quarterback, Braden was a 4-star, C.J. Williams, 5-star wide receiver, Bryson Green, who had a prolific year at Oklahoma State. Typically guys that don't normally come here. What's just the excitement level for the offense?
It's just excitement all around because it's change and it's competition. I don't necessarily think that the years past we had competition all around like I feel like there should be, and now I think there's constant competition all around at every position, which is needed. That's how teams become great.
Do you think the coaching staff did a good job too, just in terms of making sure they're good fits for the locker room, like-minded guys like yourself?
I think so. I think they did a great job. I don't think they just came, went through the portal, got anybody they thought that could be good. I think they did a good job of learning people's personalities and learning like their backgrounds, because I think everyone that came on this team is really going to help us.
Speaking on that change, as a guy who's had a lot of change over his career, being at Clemson, being here, and now under a new staff, what would you say for me is the biggest key takeaways you can take away from each of your different experiences applied to this year being your final year?
Man, I would just say it's how you carry yourself. I think that goes a long way with your teammates, your coaching staff, just to show you like how much work you put in, and then that just kind of all goes to show like how you can do things on the field.
If you could choose one thing for yourself individually, would it be health? Just get through the season.
Yeah.
I know you had to deal with the injury, the knee the first time, and the arm last year. What were those two things like to end both years that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but honestly, obviously you don't ever choose to get hurt, but I'm mentally tough, so I don't really necessarily look at it like that. But I got, like you said, health. Health is my biggest thing. I think that's always been. That's a lot of people's limitation. But yeah, I obviously want to be super healthy. I'm in a great spot right now, and I think that's kind of the only thing that's ever held me back. I don't even know if I'd still be here if it wasn't, for my health.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was that a goal to, if you had a good year last year, say, okay, let's test myself at the next level?
Yeah, I have a ton of film. I'm not necessarily worried about that. It's just health.
Okay.
That's kind of always been the only thing that's kind of been my limiting factor.
From your time at Clemson, what were your impressions of Bill Longo's offense at Carolina, and just how running backs kind of paired there.
I actually played them the year that they had, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. So, I kind of got to see that firsthand of what it was like, that tempo, two backs being very dominant, the whole offense as a whole being pretty dominant, quarterback-wise, receiver-wise. So, I'm super excited to kind of compare that to ourselves because I think we have the personnel for all of that.